Hi there. Happy Friday. Just allow a couple moments for hopefully some people to arrive live. I'm coming to you from my living room today because this is going to be a little just kind of informal chat, a little bit more personal than, hi Krista. Nice to see your name and face on here. Hope you're having a great day and gearing up for a very exciting weekend yourself. So my topic today is inspired by what I am doing this weekend, which is taking myself to Esalen. Hi, Stacy. Yay, you got some friends in the house. Hi, ladies. Can't wait for you guys to meet one day. You have been in the same place. Heading down to the airport now. We'll tell Matt I said hi. And you guys have an amazing time. And I can't wait to be celebrating with you on Thursday, a week from yesterday. So that's exciting. Stacy, if you can, and my mom is here too. Yay. Hello, hello. Got all my ladies in the house. Stacy, we're going to get Ghost Light in San Francisco next Thursday to celebrate my birthday on the 15th. So come on up and join the party. It'll be fun. Hi, Mom. So I am doing a little informal chat in my living room today, inspired by the fact that I am going to Esalen this weekend, which I hope I will head out soon. I am definitely a late packer, so I'm not actually packed yet. But do you guys, Krista, I think you pack early. And Mom, I know you're a late packer too. I think maybe that's where I got that from. But love to hear your process with that. Do you pack soon or do you pack late? It'll all get done and I will be there this evening. So my topic today that I want to talk about is building trust and commitment to yourself. Yeah, Krista, you've been packed since Monday. I know, you're amazing. I don't know how you do all that you do, but you are an inspiration. Maybe one day I'll be packed early too. Yes, so trust and commitment to self. And, the thing about our commitment to ourselves is that we are the ones that we get to be in relationship with for our whole lives. Like so many people will come and go out of our lives, but we are the ones that we have the greatest relationship with. And I think that many of us don't actually think about it in that way, because so often we show up for the relationships outside of ourselves so much bigger and better than we show up for the relationship with ourselves. And I want you to just kind of mull that over, or think about that a little bit, because it's so true. I see it in my work all the time. People who give so much to other people and would drop everything that they're doing to be there for somebody else 110%, but they don't actually show up for themselves. And the thing is that when we are cultivating a relationship with ourselves, it is the same way that we cultivate a relationship with anybody else, right? So if you think about a partner, if you say that you're going to do something and you don't do it over and over and over again, that partner is going to be out of here, right? Because they don't trust you. They don't know that you're actually going to be there for them. And ourselves work the same way. We can get into the thoughts that we tell ourselves all the time and how we talk to ourselves, and that's kind of a different conversation, but certainly something to think about. But also, how do we show up in our commitment to ourselves? And so I think that that's just something that we can think about a little bit differently, because I don't think that we think of it that way. We think, oh, well, I'm strong, I'm capable, I'll get to myself tomorrow. There's all of these other things that I need to do and all of these other people that I need to take care of. But the fact of the matter is that if we continue to disappoint ourselves, if we continue to not be there for ourselves, then that is a detriment to our health. And whether it shows up, right away, which it doesn't usually, it takes time for things to happen and things to manifest in our bodies by not showing up for ourselves, but it always happens. And in all of my work in the medical system and working with people, whether it's chronic pain or chronic illnesses, I think that is a huge factor in that. So I want to talk about my experience in my own personal life and showing up for myself, and in creating trust with myself, but also trust in the greater universe, because it's a muscle that we have to build. And it's not something that comes easily because we don't like change and we don't like the unknown. And so it's easier to stay safe and in our own comfort zones than it is to say, okay, I'm going to do this thing for myself because I know deep down inside it's going to be good for me, even though I don't know what it's going to look like on the other side. And I don't know anybody that's going to be there. And I've never been there myself and it feels scary, but I'm going to do it anyway. And so that's kind of what's happening in this weekend at Esalen. Like, I would love to be celebrating my birthday with my friends next weekend in Colorado at Goosemas. And that is something that feels very familiar to me and very exciting to me. But I made a choice to actually stick with a commitment that I'm making to myself, which is to focus on my personal business and, you know, how I'm growing Embodied Groove and how I'm showing up for myself spiritually. And I chose to say no to the weekend next weekend. And I chose to say yes to this weekend, even though I don't even know the facilitators that are facilitating this workshop, because the workshop that I thought that I was going to sign up for this weekend actually ended up not happening. And there's another workshop that is happening this weekend. The thing is that the workshop that is happening this weekend is all about live music and movement and presenting that in different ways, with ritual, as a performance, and then as some other way that I don't even remember. So even though it turned out differently than I thought it was going to be, I trust that this is exactly what I'm supposed to be there for. But my ability to be able to do this weekend is because of all of the other times in my life that I have cultivated that trust muscle, that even though I don't know what things are going to look like, even though I don't know who's going to be there or what's going to happen, I know it's going to be okay because I have experienced that before. And I think the biggest, like my first time really, really trusting myself that I was doing the right thing was with my move to Colorado, which was a huge deal because I grew up in North Carolina. And while I have lived in multiple places across the state, like I was born in Greenville, then we moved to the mountains near Asheville when I was 10. I lived there until I was 18. And I was able to go away to college, and I decided to go to college at the beach. And actually I didn't know anybody that was going to UNCW. So that was another kind of trusting that, like, I just knew that I wanted to be as far away as possible from home. I love you, Mom, but I needed to do my own thing. And I also needed to stay in state because of tuition. So I chose to go to the beach, which was like 8 hours away. And while I was in college, I made lots of friends, and I also found my first love and my first boyfriend, who ended up being not so good for me, and we had a very rocky relationship that ended up being physically and emotionally abusive. And so after I graduated from college, I knew, and we were kind of on the outs, and I knew that I needed to make a break from him, but I also knew that I couldn't really stay in the same place because it wouldn't be good for me. It wasn't going to be good for me professionally. It wasn't going to be good for me personally. And so I decided that I needed to make a move. And I actually, hi Wally, nice to see you here. I actually took a cross-country trip with a girlfriend of mine, and this cross-country trip was going to be something that was supposed to happen with another friend after high school, but she kind of moved in a different direction, and I ended up going straight to college, and so we didn't have our cross-country trip, but I knew it was something that I wanted to do. So I committed to it for myself, and I was ready to go on my own, but a friend of mine that I worked with, Kim, said that she would go with me. And so we went on this cross-country trip, and it was kind of like a scouting of where I wanted to go, where I wanted to move in the United States. And I got to California, and I loved it. And I was like, okay, I know that one day I'm going to live in California. And I got to Colorado, and I loved the mountains. And actually the mountains in Colorado were kind of what I was expecting in North Carolina. When we moved to the mountains in North Carolina, I was like, what are these? These are hills. These are not mountains. There's no like peaks with snow on them and, you know, the things that you think of as being mountains. But when I got to the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, I was like, okay, these are mountains. This is what I picture when I think of mountains. Although I will say the mountains of North Carolina are some of the oldest mountains in the world, which is why they are so weathered down and look more like hills than they do rocky, peaky mountains. So I decided on that trip that I was going to move to Colorado. And I got back to Wilmington and I applied to every ski resort in Colorado that I possibly could, only for inside jobs, because remember, I'm coming from the beach of North Carolina into the snow of Colorado and I didn't want to be freezing cold throughout the day. So Winter Park Ski Resort offered me a job in their Lost and Found. And I actually did not visit Winter Park when I was in Colorado, so I had never been there before. I didn't know anybody there. This is like, remember, a move from North Carolina all the way to Colorado, which is almost across the country. And yet I knew in my heart of hearts that like I had to make this commitment to myself, or otherwise, I don't know, something really bad was going to happen. And, you know, really bad could also be that like I would just not be able to grow in the way that I knew I would be able to if I moved to a different location, if I chose to have my own life away from this man that I had been with for 4 years prior. So I made the decision and the commitment to move to Winter Park. And again, after I made that commitment, a friend of mine decided that she would come with me. So this is a lesson that I have learned over and over and over again, is that once I commit to something, once I say yes to myself and I declare it to the universe that this is happening, it always ends up that I am supported in some way. So whether it was my friend Kim coming with me on our cross-country trip, which for a while we didn't know how we were going across country. Neither one of us knew that we could take our own cars because they just weren't reliable enough. And we kept looking at like rental vans and things like that, but that was going to be super expensive. But we kept the vision and we kept saying, we're leaving on this date, we're going. And then like the week before, Kim's dad decided to let us borrow his Isuzu Trooper that we could take across the country. So, and the same thing happened with my move to Colorado. I was like, I'm going. I accepted the job in Winter Park. And then my friend Becca said, I think a move would be good for me too. I want to come with you. So we ended up trekking to Colorado together with our 2 dogs in a Ryder moving van with her car, her driving her car behind. We got there in a snowstorm. It's like a whole story about I got the Ryder truck stuck in a snowbank because we were trying to get to our house that we had already paid rent for. We had to go back to the town and book a room in a hotel because we couldn't find the house because it was snowing. Anyways, a whole thing. But I made the move to Colorado and it was one of the best decisions that I ever made for myself. Was I scared? Absolutely. Did I cry as I was leaving Wilmington? Yes, I did, because I had no idea what the future held for me. I just knew that I had to do this for myself. And so these decisions that I have made along the way, I mean, I also decided that I was going to move to California myself. I was living in Colorado for a couple of years. It was fun. It was a great transition place for me, but I knew that there was more for me professionally and I wanted to get my master's. And as I said, on my cross-country trip, I knew I was going to live in California as well. I made the decision, I'm going to California. I met my husband while I was living in Colorado and we became close and he decided to come with me to California. So again, making a decision, the universe is supporting me. I'm actually not on my own, even though I was totally prepared to be. And it turned out to be amazing because here we are in California now. We have a 12-year-old son. We own a house here. Like, we've created such a beautiful life here. But none of that would have happened if I had not trusted myself and I had not said yes to myself and walked through the unknown not having any idea what was on the other side, just really trusting that part of myself that knew that I was doing this for the best. And in doing that and declaring that and staying strong in that, I was then supported by the universe that said, okay, Leah, here you go. We're going to give you some help, whether that was a car to take me across country or a friend to move to Colorado with, because I went without a car. I could have made it without the car, but it was nice to have a roommate that had a car to at least be able to go and buy groceries with, so that I didn't have to take the bus home with the groceries or hitchhike home with the groceries, which was a thing in Colorado. There was a lot of hitchhiking happening because it was a resort town with people coming from, Australia and New Zealand to like work these ski resorts. And of course they are not bringing their cars from there. So it was an experience, it was an adventure, and I made it out the other side. And so, sometimes we have to really stretch out of our comfort zones if we want to grow, right? I can only imagine what my life would be right now if I had stayed in Wilmington, North Carolina. I probably would have gotten back together with my ex-boyfriend, and who knows what would have happened at that point. But I can tell you 110% that it would not look anything like it does right now. And I am so grateful for my life. I'm so grateful for all of you who are here with me live, because you're such an important part of my life. And I wouldn't have you if I had not said yes to myself and had not kept that commitment to myself. So these are really big examples of saying yes. This Esalen weekend is another example. I don't really know what to expect. I have no idea who the people are going to be. I'm actually sleeping in floor space, so I don't even know what my roommates are going to be like. But I know and I trust that this is exactly where I need to be. And I also am setting the intention that I'm going to make connections that are going to help me come back to Esalen as a teacher. But these are big examples, but there's examples every day of how we can make the commitment to ourselves and begin to cultivate that relationship with ourselves. We can say, okay, today I'm going to move my body, and however that looks, right? Whether that's a walk, or whether that's putting on your favorite song and dancing, or going to a show and dancing. But to be able to give yourself something that feeds you, that helps you to feel good. And it can literally take 5 minutes out of your day, right? It doesn't have to be some extravagant thing. It's just cultivating that relationship and that trust that you are going to be there for yourself. And then also, being able to take these like steps to listen to that voice inside of you, because we all have that voice inside of us that knows exactly what we need and what is best for us. And those little things that'll come up that says, you should go out to the show tonight. And even though you don't know who's going to be there, and maybe you don't have a ticket, right? That's how I found my musician that's playing for Embodied Groove right now. I had the intuition that I needed to go to this show, and that I didn't need to buy a ticket, that actually the magic was going to be and who was there to give me the ticket. And now I have an amazing multi-instrumentalist that is playing for me for studio Embodied Groove classes. But none of that would have happened if I hadn't trusted that that was the thing that I needed to do. And with that story, there were many times I tried to talk myself out of putting my finger in the air and getting a miracle ticket. My brain was like, come on, Leah, like, what does this look like? You can pay for a ticket. Do you really need to be here standing with your finger in the air? I even had my phone out, about to text somebody that I knew had an extra ticket. And I said, you know what? That is sending mixed messages to the universe, because I know that what I have been told is true. So I put my phone away. I said, I'm just going to hang out here for 5 more minutes. And literally within 60 seconds of putting my phone away and having my finger in the air, Gabe and the woman that he was with walked up to me with a free ticket. And not only did I get my free ticket, but I also made the connection of the musician who's playing Embodied Groove for me. So it's things like that like I've just seen over and over and over again in my life, that if I trust and I remain in that trust, that something on the other side is going to be exactly what I need, it happens over and over and over and over again. And I am not the only one that can do this. That's why I'm talking about this right now. So I hope that this inspires you to begin to cultivate a relationship with yourself, to begin to not only trust yourself, but to trust in the support of the universe, especially when you declare your commitment to yourself and you remain strong in that commitment. It is incredible the doors that will begin to open at that point. The universe needs to know that you're serious, and yourself needs to also know that you're serious and that you're going to be there for her, for him, for they, for them, whoever it is. So I love you guys, and I'm so happy that you are a part of my life. And I can't wait to tell you all about my weekend at Esalen. I'm super excited about that. And I also can't wait to celebrate with many of you for my birthday after that. So I'd love to hear. Thanks, Wally. Thanks again for being here. Hope to see you live soon. And I'd love for you to play for Embodied Groove too. That would be super awesome. We'll have to get something that doesn't start so early in the morning, though. I know that's hard. So thank you all for being here. And if you are interested in kind of stretching out of your comfort zone and doing something new in the new year, I do have some amazing offers for group immersions that I'm leading for people. One is Realign and the other is Free Your Mind. I'm talking about them in my stories. I'm talking about them in my posts. So if you want to know more about that, I would be happy to share, and I'd love to help support you and really showing up for yourself, because there are many ways that people don't show up for themselves. And a lot is that, I love that. I will DM you. A lot is just what we've been taught, right? Maybe somebody wasn't there for us in the beginning, and so then we don't know how to show up for ourselves. So not only am I going to be helping to support people in really setting up their health and wellness in an intuitive way that works for their life, but also releasing and clearing the old beliefs and patterns that have held you back from showing up for yourself consistently. So, yes, I love your transition for the new year, Krista. I support your vision 100%. So thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful Friday, or whatever day it is that you're listening to this. And I look forward to more conversation in the future. I'll be here next Friday at 11 a.m. live. And I love you very much. Bye. Mwah. Thanks, Stacy. Yes, Wally, let's do that. I'll send you a message and we'll start the conversation. Okay. Bye, everybody.